I cut it. I said I need to check it. I knew I was getting close. I am smack on, dead on, perfect. And let me show you here. Okay, so here we have our mastodon bone or old bone. I don't know if they're still mastodon bone. They used to say mastodon bone. But you can see, pull her up here. There's her slot that she sits in. And she fits perfect right in that slot. Right there, that is a perfect fit. So now I have to do the arc and the edges. So I'm going to start addressing that. There you can see it from here. You can see where I've got a little bit of a drawing there. I don't want to go past, oops, sorry. I got a little bit of a drawing here. I don't want to go past those lines. Those are my guidelines. And then I have my bottom, if you can read that. And that is perfectly flat on that bottom. And I spelled bottom wrong. So she sits right in that pocket perfect. Can't get any closer than that. Right in that pocket, she is perfect. There you go. Better. Okay, guys. Now I am going to cut the back arch of the nut. So I'll show you me doing it a little bit. I'll finish it off and I'll show you finished. So let me move this forward. A little bit off center there. I'm gonna have to loosen this. Sorry for the. I'm using the little tripod. It's handy dandy, but she's shaky if you move it. So what I'm doing now is I'm rounding the back side, because remember, when you're doing a nut, the strings have to curve down or you will always have a buzz. And then you cut with a heavy file first, and then you go to a fine file, and then you go to emery paper to polish it out. So the reason a nut has a rounded back, or sometimes they're square, and the roundness is in the slot, the string slot, and that's because the string comes across and then has to drop down. And if you do not have that drop down, you will get buzz. Your guitar can be perfectly set up, and you will get buzz. Okay, hopefully you can see this fairly good. Now I have the arch this way pretty much done, so it like arches up and over like that. I have the height. Now one thing I want to show you, when you have your bridge or saddle, I forget which one it is, and I think it's the saddle because it's an under saddle pickup. When you have your saddle or your nut in your vise, you take, let me back this up. You take your dial calipers, or digital, or not digital, your calipers, and you open them up, use the bottom, set the bottom on there, come down and measure. Now you do this in setup and then you do it as you're filing. So this is reading 6 mils on this end, and then it's reading 6 mils on this one. Now when you do your setup, you have to set it up so that it's level. So when you put it in there, you gently snug it up just so it'll hold it, and then you take your dial calipers and come down and then, you know, measure it 3 places across, make sure it's equal. You know, you want it equal. And then as you file, as long as you don't move it, as long as you file, you can come in and measure, and in the middle at 6, and on the end at 6. So that's how you get your height while using your calipers. Now I could break out the digitals and get really exact, but we don't have to be that perfect exact. And then I've started to round over these corners. Now when I did the rough cut of the bridge, I cut it to about within a width, a millimeter of this direction, within a mil to 2 mils on the width, and then probably 2 mils on the height. And that was my rough cut using the saw. So, and then the bottom, when I knew the bottom was 100% true, that's when I did my measurements, set it up here on the top, and that's how you level it out. So hopefully you're understanding and following this. So then you use a coarse file, then you use the finer file, and then you use some 200, 400, 600 grit paper, and the paper will take those file marks right out. And so you just rub the heck out of it with the paper, and those file marks will disappear. Just like this. Now it's not essential to get the file marks out until you're completely done. You got everything all set up and ready to go. I'm just showing you how nice it can be. So we work her out like this. Oh, I think Joe Mama came to work. Because I hear Sam going, oh. And there we got most of the file marks out. And I am going to check her on the guitar and see how she looks. Thank you.